Penguin Random House Audio presents Congratulations! The best is over. Essays. This is the author, R. Eric Thomas. For David. Well, someone's got to break the ice, and it might as well be me. I'm used to being a hostess. It's part of my husband's work, and it's always difficult when a group of new friends meet together for the first time to get acquainted, so I'm perfectly prepared to start the ball rolling. I have absolutely no idea what we're doing here, or what I'm doing here, or what this place is about, but I'm determined to enjoy myself. Mrs. Peacock. Clue. Why can't it just be magic all the time? Andy Warhol. What? Joan Didion. Published in Interview magazine. Introduction. The middle. I wanted a cupcake. I was in my late 20s, and all my other ambitions thwarted. I just wanted a cupcake. But you can't make one cupcake. So I made a dozen cupcakes. Why not? I deserved a little treat. It takes effort, but it's not the hardest conceivable dessert. I wasn't treating myself to a croquembouche. I'm the kind of person who always wants a complicated dessert. An eclair, a cannelé, a perfect creme brulee, really anything with an accent over the E. But I'm not going to do all that, so I settle for a cupcake. A dozen cupcakes. Like a lot of people in their 20s, I had kitchen supplies that would get the job done, but weren't quite the right thing. A misshapen plastic bowl, a spoon that was a little too big, an oven that was a little too small. I was in the process of saving up for a stand mixer, but it was very slow going because I had no money whatsoever, so I made the cupcakes and icing by hand. At the end, the kitchen counter was covered in flour and buttercream smears, and the sink was full of dishes, but I had my cupcake. It was all I wanted. I was in a phase of life that was, in retrospect, typical of one's late 20s. Money troubles, underemployment, the dawning thought, wait, is life a scam, LOL? I'd moved to Philadelphia in 2005, following a dream of finding success in the city's vibrant art scene. Now I was 6 years in and no closer to my goal. I was scrounging together money from odd jobs, then later as a legal assistant at a firm that was an hour away and barely netted me rent. I had had a friend break up with my longtime roommate, it was my fault, and moved into a house with a gregarious guy I'd just met and his 2 cats, who were convinced I'd usurped their hanging out room and who conducted Mission Impossible-style break-ins at all hours of the day and night. The cats' names were Cole Hamels and Chase Utley, after 2 Phillies players, but I knew I'd never remember that, so I redubbed them Jennifer Hudson and Susan Sarandon, both Oscar winners. When I came to the city, I wanted to write for a living. I wanted to find love. I wanted to make peace with myself after some failures in college. I wanted to feel hope. Now all I wanted was a cupcake. So I made a cupcake, and it made me feel better. Then I kept making cupcakes. Directionless and with a dwindling social circle, I was soon making cupcakes multiple times a week for no one. My roommate was a bodybuilder, so I just want you to imagine the psychological terrorism of having every surface in a kitchen covered by baked goods when you're counting macros. But I was a man possessed. I tried out different flavors. Peanut butter icing on banana cakes, strawberry icing on ginger cakes, chocolate cakes with cherries in the center topped with cream cheese icing, rainbow pride cupcakes that resulted in every dish in the kitchen being stained with dyes of different colors. These were creative cupcakes, but they were not impressive cupcakes. Still, I kept making them. I made hundreds, perhaps thousands of cupcakes. No one asked why. I don't hold this against anyone. Why are you looking at cupcakes and asking why? What are you, a philosopher? Besides, baking wasn't a cry for help. I've done plenty of things before and since that are absolutely cries for help. Dyeing my hair, abruptly moving to a different state, writing and publishing personal essays. But the cupcakes weren't that. They were, like the name of a cute shop in a Lifetime holiday movie, just desserts. I was in an unhappy phase of life that I feared I would never get out of. But baking didn't save me either. Otherwise, this book would be called Need, Pray, Love, and have recipes in it, and maybe there'd be, two hands on the cover clapping in a cloud of flour. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be lovely? Oh, wow. Anyway, there's no recipes in this book. If you want a recipe, Google cupcake recipes, because this part, my cupcake days, is just about over. I baked for a couple of years as the other wants in my life stagnated. But surrounded by my sea of baked goods, my life unchanged, my belly full, I wondered what I was supposed to do once the cake was finished. As an aspiring artist, I was used to taking every one of my interests and entrusting them with my financial well-being. But I never wanted to turn the cupcakes into a money-making endeavor. I was not going to become a cupcake professional. I was happy making something just for the pleasure of doing it. Family members were giving me restaurant-sized vanilla and specialty baking tins for Christmas and birthdays. Cupcakes became my thing. But at the end of the day, it was a hobby. As I tried to make something of the rest of my life, I wondered if hobbies were a reflection of a deeper truth about the self, or a diversion from it. Throughout this period, my father would regularly come across articles about 401ks and constructing one's 5-year plan and send them to me, often on LinkedIn. Then, I'd have to figure out what my LinkedIn password was, find my messages, and download an article my father had taken the time to scan in on his work computer. The PDFs would instruct me to map out an idea of what my future would look like, and I'd stare at them as if I was trying to decipher hieroglyphics. I knew what 5-year plans were, but I didn't know how to begin making one for myself. One of the ways I understand my father is as a businessman. There are a lot of business people in the world, usually in airports. They have important jobs that I can't comprehend, and they take conference calls I can't follow. They know what the plan is. My father had the title of manager at a succession of companies and was now general managing a public market. I love business words. Arbitrage. Circle back. Excel. What fun! But I thought that business was a component of an ordered universe I wasn't a part of. Still, I read those LinkedIn messages with great interest. Not only were they talking about conceiving of myself outside my current circumstance, but they seemed to be just slightly beyond what the platform was built for. See, I saw LinkedIn as a place where things I knew nothing about happened. Success, achievement, vision. But my father used those messages in the same way my parents always communicated to me, as a means of tapping into a deep well of encouragement. In those messages, he showed up fully as himself, which is a beautiful surprise to see on a website dedicated to endorsing one's colleagues' PowerPoint skills. He would also frequently send me happy birthday messages on LinkedIn, which I thought was lovely and idiosyncratic. Those 5-year plan messages seemed, at first, to be quixotic assignments I couldn't do. But I kept looking, and I saw another message underneath. It said, "I see you. The future is coming. Keep going." The 5-year plan was hope. I made my way through those hopeless years, 12 cupcakes at a time. Eventually, I met someone, we moved in together, and he bought me a Vitamix because I was all about juicing now. My cupcake days were over. I got new jobs, I started freelance writing on the side, my boyfriend and I broke up, I nearly drowned in sorrow and juice. A year later, I wrote a one-man show about a search for God, a boyfriend, and baked goods. I took unglamorous production photos of me eating a cupcake, which I absolutely would not allow to be published today. In the audience, I met a white social justice-seeking pastor named David. We got married a few weeks before the 2016 election.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?